Hey there, welcome everyone. Welcome to another Friday night watch chat. Friday night for us, our friend Pete, who's joining us, is joining us from Australia, and it's actually Saturday morning. Um, Pete, how are you, man? How you
I'm
doing?
very well, thank you. This is great. This is a very civilized time for me. I've done a couple of other chats, which means getting up at 6 o'clock Monday morning. So great start to the week talking about watches, but a very early start to the week too. So no, very civilized. Mid morning, I've gone and got my coffee. This has been
Nice,
great.
excellent, excellent. And it's wintertime, right? You got a little sweatshirt on. I see.
I have. Although it's funny because my wife likes to have the downstairs like a furnace, so
Yeah.
I've got the door shut and all the windows open because I actually prefer it cool with me
Mhm.
wearing a sweater than the other way around.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I like when we have the air conditioning on when summers gets hot here, right? And
Yeah.
last week it was like 100 degrees. I still am, with, not to get too personal, but I'm just in my boxers. I just like to be cold. I like
Yeah.
to be cold, and with a
Yeah.
blanket on me while it's cold. So like
Mhm.
kind of like where you're going with the sweatshirt and the
Totally get
clothes.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
when I'm traveling and I get to stay in a hotel and I
yeah,
like someone else's power, that aircon just goes to like
uh, uh,
16 degrees.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. What do you got on wrist tonight?
Today I am wearing I'm not sure if this is going to come up. There you go.
Yeah.
An IWC RAAF Pilot Commemorative Edition.
Oh,
This is
Nice.
um, something that IWC did in conjunction with a couple of Air Force RAF aircrew last year to celebrate our 100th anniversary. So IWC created a watch just for us. Can only be purchased by current serving or former members of the RAAF. Um,
oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
so it's very cool.
Any idea of how many people actually bought one?
I was talking to the guy who organised it. At last count, there were 35 orders, and there's probably about another 14 or 15 likely to
Wow,
happen.
Wow,
So
so it's
in
really
the
low
long run, there'll
numbers.
be like maybe 50 of these.
so cool.
Um,
Wow,
Yeah, I mean
but
that's
that's like
awesome.
getting like a bespoke watch, except for you and 49 of your friends have one, right?
that's right.
From IWC,
Yeah,
amazing.
one of the downsides is because I'm not a pilot, I don't have a funky call sign to have on the back of it. There's no Maverick or anything. So
Yeah,
mine just comes with my service number.
yeah.
But like a mate of mine, his call sign is like chainsaw. Oh, wouldn't that be
Nice,
so cool?
nice. That's a great call sign.
Hmm.
Awesome,
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Dan, how are you doing, buddy? What's going on?
awesome, awesome. Good to be on it today. And I have my Franken G Shock that I built this week, and
Very nice.
I'm I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And Ra, how are you, sir?
Doing
Back
good.
home
Well,
in California, I see.
yeah, it was a long way back, a little
Yeah,
bit longer than I planned. But yeah, and then I started work today. Like we went back, full time.
sure,
So it was
sure.
start
Yeah.
times, gentlemen, start times.
What do you got on wrist, Ra?
We're in the JLC. I keep meaning to switch to the Omega because that's like my work watch.
Right.
But I was so exhausted after getting in yesterday. I was just like,
Yeah.
get to it when I get to it.
You love that JLC anyway.
Yeah, I do.
Um,
Yeah.
let's say hello to the chat first. Oh, I'm wearing my Panerai, my Panerai Luminar. I got it back on the rubber strap that I got from Etsy that says Panerai on it. These Panerai straps are you can run like a couple $100, and this
Yeah.
one I got from Etsy, $60. Pretty good
How's the
quality.
quality?
No, good quality. And no, I have no shame. I have no shame when it comes to straps. Um, Very rarely do I feel like the need to get an OEM strap. If I didn't get it with the watch when I bought the watch. But I have so many straps for the Panerai. It's just like I can't go up market too much with it because I have like about 30 or 40 straps for it. It's strap monster. Um, Let's say hello to the chat here. Neff, how you doing? Good to see you. Mountain Sanitime Rob wearing his Planet Ocean tonight. Awesome. Bill K is here. Wilson here. Guys, let us know what you're wearing on wrist. Steve Time Hill is here. How you doing? Thomas, hello. How are you, Thomas? You're up late. Keith is here as well. Um, Chaz from the Berg. How you doing, Chaz? Pale Horse is here. How you doing, Pale Horse? Peter C, what is up? Hi, Steve. Peter C is a big fan, I know, of also of Pete. So I'm sure Peter and Pete will have a good, hopefully have a good show. AZ Clayton's here. How you doing, AZ? Justin R is strapped in. Caliber YQG is here. What's going on? Ken Spears here, checking in all the way from Pittsburgh. Thanks, Ken. Deech is here. How you doing, Deech? Canadian Watch Monkey. We got people from Canada. We got people from Pittsburgh. We got people from England, Australia. I love it. I love it. Dark Star is here. Mez9 is here. KR Joy. Hey, Bobby and friends. Good evening. Good evening to you. Scrolling down. Brendan Nelson is here. Good evening, fellas. Zenith Defy Classic White Ceramic. Very, very nice. Chainsaw must have flown an A10.
No, we
No.
don't have those. No, he's a no. He is a fighter guy though.
Okay, all right. Kevin S is here. How you doing, Kevin S? He's wearing a Sea of Clouds tonight on wrist. So is Wilson. I was wearing it yesterday. Big fan. Have you had a chance to see a Sea of Clouds, Grand Seiko in person yet, Pete?
No, I haven't. I know they exist.
Yeah.
I've seen the shots online, but no, I haven't.
Okay, gotcha. No problem. Wilson's here. I gave Dan admin access, right? And it looks like Dan is now
Not to be trusted.
not to be trusted. Oh boy, I'm regretting it already. Let's see. I see AZ Clayton. What were you wearing, buddy? Oh, I gotta go scroll back up. I missed a bit. I think he was wearing the Green Monster today. Mez9 is wearing the Tudor Ranger. Deech is wearing the Willard tonight. Awesome. Thomas is wearing the Omega Baby Prof. AJ is here. How you doing, AJ? Amin, how you doing, sir? What's going on, buddy?
Can you hear
You're
me?
on mute. Yeah, now I can hear you.
All right, I'm having technical problems here.
No, you sound great, my friend.
All
I
right.
was going to say, great radio announcer voice. I suddenly feel very emasculated.
Thanks
Oh,
for
yeah.
adding me here. Good to see you guys.
Good. Amin, you want to tell us what you have? Tell me you have a Sea of Clouds on.
Today, Tudor ceramic.
Okay, Tudor ceramic.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Scott is here. How you doing, Scott? Tony Cooper. How you doing, Tony from Oz here? Wearing my Smith's Air Ministry. Excellent. The Serica 415. I'm sorry, 4512 Commando for Canadian Watch Monkey. Awesome. So. Pete was gracious to come on tonight. Last week, we had a little bit of fun with some of the YouTubers or the trends from some of the content creators who are changing the name of their channels to their personal names. And I had a little bit of fun with it. Pete has changed his name to his channel. He put out a great video this morning, and I put a link to the description. To that video in the description, explaining why he changed his name and why he did not change his name, or the reasons that he didn't do it for. And if you guys have a chance, please take a look at it. But Pete, I want to give you the floor. You have a very interesting take on most things when it comes to the watch industry, and we love you for it. So we'd love to hear your explanation of why you changed your name.
Okay, so the first thing is, I just want to make it really clear. When I reached out to Bobby and said I was happy to jump on and do this, Bobby said, "Oh, geez, I hope I didn't offend anyone with what I said." Absolutely not. What I have seen, though, is a lot of misconceptions and, frankly, conspiracy theories going on the side. And I thought I kind of put my video together to quash that, and I'd already spoken to you about doing it.
Yeah.
So just really briefly, first off, everything I'm talking about now applies to the little one-man band people like myself and Adrian and Britt. You know, we all operate out of our garages and our kitchens, and we poke phones at ourselves and whatever and film. A lot of people have compared what we've done to like Nico or, you know, Ben Clymer at Hodinkee, or this morning someone was comparing it to, you know, Theo and Harris. Those guys are companies with big production teams, and from the very first key press, you know, those were designed to be products that can be sold off or have other presenters swap in and out. They're not the same as us. So a lot of the rules that people are talking about for them, they're applying to the little one-man bands, and it's just not true. So that's the first thing. So the second thing is, okay, there was a lot of people going about, oh, it's got to be a terms of service thing, or it's got to be something about how monetization works. And Bobby, you'd know this being a presenter. You know, none of that's true. Google deals with us as people, not as channels. Our channel name is quite literally one user settable field on one page. You could change that 20 times a day, and it would have no impact on your relationship with Google or AdSense or monetization or memberships. It just doesn't. It's not linked in any way, shape, or form. The second thing is, a lot of people have said it's about like surfing the algorithm, trying to like, you know, search engine optimize our names. And I get it, again, for really big, the Kardashians, that might be a thing. But for little niche within a niche and watch enthusiast channels, it's what I do with a description, or what I do with a thumbnail, is infinitely more powerful than my name. It's funny. It's a challenge I'll give to a few people. You know, go out and find a channel that you know, a smaller channel that you know, then go to YouTube and enter their exact name. I'll guarantee you they are probably not the first person that comes up in the search result. What you're more likely to get is video titles that have got one or two words of that name in them. So it's not really from a search engine optimization point of view. The truth is, a lot of us just picked bad names. I picked a name on a rainy Sunday afternoon because I was annoyed and it sounded funny. And I never imagined that years later I'd still be doing it. I used, and I said this in my video, from the moment I saw Watch Gringa's video and this white girl came out with the word Gringa, I thought there is no way that's going to survive. That is going to get changed. And Adrian at Bark and Jack has made the same comment. You know, he kind of fell into using a shared name with a mate from an Instagram account from years ago. We just didn't like our names, and so we wanted to change them. So the question then becomes, well, what are you going to change it to?
Pete, what, you know, you guys all have bad names, but a lot of people change their name at the same time to their real name.
Yeah. Okay. So can I work up to that one, please?
Yeah. Sure.
So then it becomes a case of, well, what name are you going to use? You're going to change your name. What name are you going to use? And for me, I was thinking, I sat down, I was thinking of getting Not So Obvious into it somehow, but then it becomes Not So Obvious Watch Opinions, Not So Obvious, which is too long. There's too much in there. And then it becomes Not So Obvious Thoughts. And what the hell does that mean? And, you know, I was playing with a million different things. And then I thought the one thing that ties everything together is just me. It's just my name. And then flowing from that, whenever people start getting into conversations, they very quickly drop the idea of the channel, and they very quickly just start talking about Bobby or Armin or Fed or Adrian or Pete. And so I figured, if everyone else is just dropping our channel names and referring to us as people, well, why shouldn't I just do the same thing? So that's why I kind of ended up on just choosing my name. So why now? For me, I've been thinking about it for a while. I was kind of hiding behind a channel name when I first created it. I didn't want Pete McConville out there in lights on a channel, but now I've taken the odd punch to the face and realized it doesn't kill me. So I'm more confident. I feel better. It's easier doing these live streams if you're just Pete McConville and not having to carry a name around with you. But then to answer your question, Armin, why all of us at once? I just think it's flat out contagion effect.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a while,
Mm.
but it's always been like, I'll do it one day. It's probably really hard. And then I saw Britt do it, and I thought, I'm pretty sure she didn't put in too much effort, so it probably can't be that difficult. And then Adrian did it, and I thought, oh man, this is probably way easier than I thought. And so it kind of was it was a prompt to get off my fat ass and just do something about it. And then I saw it's like a field. And I went, oh, if I just type this in and press what happens, and then it just happened. And I was like shocked at how quickly everything just changed. I actually changed it back because I thought, oh my God, I've broken something. And then I realized, no, that's how easy it is. So I just made the change. I went through, spent another 10 minutes just getting rid of some of the old branding. I haven't got rid of all of it yet. And that was it. Quite frankly, as I said in my video, the process of changing my channel name took less time than it would to change details in a video I'd published. It took less time than it took me to explain to you now why I changed it. It's shockingly easy. And so, yeah, I'm going to change next week to Rolex Trader Huber Lahaker because I think that's an SEO approved name change.
Well, that's a coincidence because I'm gonna, as you saw before last week, change mine to not so timeless barking Gringa Gentleman.
I don't know if it's just me, Pete, but I think you started off by saying, that the small timers like you and Britt and Adrian are not like Hodinkee and Nico. I mean, I think that Adrian and Gringa came out with a little more help on the production side. At least that's how it looks to me. Than you. I wouldn't put you in exactly the same category as those two, as far as like how much help they have or what else is going on.
I think Gringa is different. Britt is different. She's come along a little bit later. I think if you go back and you look at the early Adrian videos, I think they were filmed like on his phone in his kitchen. And that's pretty clear where that came from. If you go back and look at his really early Instagram stuff.
Oh yeah. Beginning, sure. Just seems like it changed for him a while back.
The little bit I know from, because I chat with Adrian occasionally. We're not great mates or anything, but we do exchange odd message. I still believe he does everything. He doesn't have an editor or a producer. He doesn't. In some ways, he is grossly unprofessional as a YouTuber. He doesn't have like a running list of videos he's planning on putting out. It's really funny after having been at the exact time where he's being accused of like chasing the algorithm and trying to grow, he is being the worst YouTuber. He's really irregular. You never know when his videos are going to come out. He goes days without producing anything. I mean, that's everything they tell you not to do. He's doing at the moment. So I believe him. This is not a search engine optimization thing for him.
So thank you, Pete. So as I was mentioning before our stream started to you guys, to Pete, that Chris from Watch Chris was on Tuesday night, and me and him had a quick conversation via chat before. I was asking him to come on once I knew that I was hoping that you were going to come on Tuesday night, but totally understand because of work. But anyway, in that time where I didn't know what night it was going to be, I asked him to come on because I know him and Gringa have about the same amount of subs, right? And Chris is pretty prolific. Puts out two videos a day. He's really involved in the watch community. In fact, he couldn't come tonight because he's at an IWC event, right? So he had mentioned that he was thinking of changing the name of his channel as well, because I wanted his opinion. I wanted him to come on and speak when you were speaking. And but he just felt like, one of the reasons why he didn't do it was because his last name, is not, he doesn't feel like it could be pronounced fairly easily. And that's one of the reasons. He might have some other reasons why too, but his opinion on why Gringa and Adrian had changed their names. One of the points that he made, and these guys can come up with if there were other ones. I kind of missed the conversation because I had to jump off because the kid was crying, so I had to go upstairs to the bedroom. Was that when you get to a certain point, certain level of subscribers and whatnot, you are assigned somebody or on the Google side, on the YouTube side, to help manage your channel or give you ideas. And he feels that at a certain point, they Google wants you to kind of do the best you can, right? And felt that maybe this is just him theorizing that they asked them to change their channel name to their real names because lifestyle vlogging is way more. You get more hits, right? So if you get more hits, your channel does better. Google and YouTube do better, right? And so, case in point, somebody like Roman Sheriff with Luxury Bazaar had a channel, Luxury Bazaar, and he was doing his thing for a while. Membership or subscribership was steadily increasing, but nothing crazy. Once he changed his channel to Roman Sheriff and did more of the behind the scenes kind of vlogging, his channel just exploded, right? He's got easily over 100,000 subscribers. So that was one of Chris's one of his theories of why they changed that name. I don't think our channels. I don't think YouTube is talking to us yet. You know what I mean?
No, I think it takes 100,000 is when you get one of those sort of
Well, watch Chris.
support crew.
Chris is at like 29,000,
and he has somebody.
and so is Britt Pierce. So he was thinking that since he recently got someone and Britt's around the same channel size, she probably recently got someone too, and that they're likely getting similar advice to one another, including this sort of consideration of a name change.
Yeah, and it's certainly possible, and everyone's going to have slight variations of why they want to do it. I think one of the main reasons that was probably driving Britt, looking at subsequent behaviors, is that she is turning up as a personality on other people's shows.
Yeah.
So for her, and again, coming back to this idea of the Gringa, was probably never going to be super popular being associated with Bob's Watches. And so I think in her case, and if you look back, some of that stuff was starting to happen before she did the swap over. But it's certainly, for her, that certainly works, as she's going to be doing more and more work with Bob's Watches. And I think she just did one with Watchbox. That sort of being a person is going to help her. And I can see why that would influence her decision. I think Adrian, and again, I'm very cautious putting words in other people's mouths. But I think Adrian has come at it from a slightly different way, in that, and again, sort of relying on some of the chats we have offline, he very much watches a lot of photography vlogs, as I do, and those guys only use their real names. That's all they ever do. There's a few, very small number that might be the art of photography. But in general, the guys I follow are Thomas Heston and Jason Vong and Sean Tucker. I don't follow the McKinnon guy that Adrian does, but I think it's Troy McKinnon. I can't remember his name. Peter McKinnon. That's all they use. It's really, really rare not to use your name in that sphere. So I think there's one of the things I would say is, like, if you look at all of us, we're all coming at it from slightly different perspectives. And when people are coming in and going, it's because they got this advice, it's because of a change of, it's way more personal and way more mundane than probably you're expecting. If you think there's some kind of conspiracy, there's that old saying, if you've got a choice between a conspiracy and a cock up, go with a cock up every single time. There's no conspiracy here. It's just a whole bunch of people.
I don't think YouTube giving the general advice to a lot of people though is a conspiracy, right? Like Sean Tucker and whoever else these photographers are, they may have gotten that advice when they started to get big, and then like they may be an influence on other people, who maybe haven't gotten a manager yet. I'm just saying like that's not a conspiracy if YouTube is saying maybe it's a good idea to use your own name as a brand.
It could be, but what I would say is in the photography space, if
Yeah,
I have one sub, I'm
yeah.
Pete McConville.
But you're
I
already influenced by people who maybe have gotten that advice from
That's exactly right.
from YouTube, who are
Maybe,
bigger established channels.
but I'm not doing it on the basis that they got that advice. I'm doing that on the basis of that's just normal.
But
That's what people do.
it could be normal because the successful YouTubers have gotten that advice. It's not a conspiracy necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, if YouTube is out there kind of suggesting this, I certainly believe, like, I take at face value why you're changing your name, or why you changed your name. But like, I think what Watch Chris said as kind of, as an insider who has this kind of YouTube advisor, it makes sense too. It could be part of what's going on.
Yeah. On the other hand, it's hard to then say, well, why didn't Adrian change his name 3 years ago? He passed that line years and years ago.
Yeah.
And Teddy Baldessar came out of the gate as Teddy Baldessar from the very first time.
Yeah.
And Bruce Williams and a whole bunch of other people just came out of the gate using their name. So it's, like I said, for me, it's like if you want to have a single theory, it has to explain every single opportunity. If it doesn't explain every single one, then the model doesn't really work. I normally go with the idea of there's a whole bunch of things going on. Everyone has a bunch of different influences. Some of them are being advised by SEOs. Some of them are being advised by people within YouTube. Others are just following the herd. Why did we all do it at the same time? Because that's what people do. We see what
Monkey
other
see,
people are
monkey
doing.
do.
Yeah.
That's
Some people,
exactly right.
yeah. People influence each other. Sure.
Karan is
I
saying
wonder-
here. Sure, go ahead.
I'm wondering if now Adrian's gonna change his branding, like get rid of Bark and Jack, the website, and all the merch, and just change it to his name.
I don't believe he is. I think the idea is that Bark and Jack is I think he's actually trademarked that name. So Bark and Jack is a trademarked tradable entity that can be bought and sold, that can be fronted by, and this is kind of one of the issues with having a name. You can sell that and move it on to someone else. Like Ben Clymer, never intended to associate himself with Hodinkee. Hodinkee was always intended to be sold to a venture capital company.
Right.
I think Adrian would be one day perfectly happy selling Bark and Jack, but he probably doesn't want to sell Adrian Barker YouTube channel. And I think that's why he has split the two.
Makes sense.
Thomas is saying here it is a lot more personable, like Pete said, to be using your real name. It shows that you have nothing to hide, and I think the viewers trust you more.
What's really funny, if I can jump in there's a whole bunch of people who, by the way, are accusing me of being incredibly arrogant and who am I to think that my name is that important? So there's all over the place on the responses to the name change.
Yeah. So I, like you, really came up with my name kind of just like out of frustration, right? I wanted to start a channel. I've been talking about or thinking about it, talking about it with my wife for about a year and a half before I actually did it, of actually doing it. And then I was watching YouTube videos on how to start a channel, and everybody's advice was just do a video and put it out there, right? That's how you start, right? And so, like, what do I call my channel? And that was the last thing that I had thought about, like, what would I call my channel actually? And so, like, I chose a second-rate nickname that I had in college, right? Because there was a couple of other Robs, and there were Bobby this, Bobby that, and I was Bobby Legs because it's shortening my last name. So I had to tell you that I probably will and for time being, stick with Bobby Legs, even though I thought about changing my name. I actually added this morning Loves Watches because most people think my channel name is Bobby Legs Loves Watches. It was actually just Bobby Legs. Because Bobby Legs Loves Watches is barely better than what my name is, right? So nobody wants. I don't think nobody's interested in the Robert Legnoski YouTube channel. So at least Pete McConnell. I mean, that sounds poetic. That sounds like he could have been. He could have been an English
like Robert
writer from the 18th
Legnoski.
century.
Good.
Peter McConnell. But like Robert Legnoski is just like some
That's
guy.
good.
Wasn't he an ice hockey player for the Leafs?
for Czechoslovakia. Yeah. AJ say Gringa could have turned Watch Gringa into a character and trademarked it and made it an LLC. Amin, you can change your website to Amin Doesn't Sell Straps. Hey, Junior Johnson. Hello from Michigan. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to be very, very careful with some of our chat is very they're funny guys, so I just want to
Spicy.
they're very spicy today, and I just want to make sure. Navy Blue Monster says, I think Gringo wants to do the YouTube thing full time. At least that's that. So I guess maybe at a certain point when you get to a certain size or following, right? It must enter your mind.
It's certainly. Oh, I'm like 5,500 subs. I'm a tiny little channel, so I'm not necessarily playing by the same rules they are.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there does come a time where you think, where is this going?
Yeah.
And am I going to keep doing this? And I think maybe when you hit that moment, again, it comes back to timing rather than whether it's your name or not. You begin to think, if I'm going to keep going, I should really start getting some of the basics, like my bloody name nailed down. So I think, it is not coincidental that people that are doing quite well and are on a path to growth, start thinking about their branding, their icons, their names. And
let me jump in there real quick, Pete, because I think when I watched your video this morning, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had mentioned that you are retiring soon.
Yeah,
Is that right?
and it's certainly in a couple of years, I will be retiring. There is a full stop coming on my full-time service with the Air Force, and it's in the planning horizon now. And of course, that's having an impact on how do I think. I'm about to have a lot more time on my hands, and I enjoy doing this. And if it buys me the odd watch after I retire, cool, I'll take that. So it's got me thinking about, where does the channel go? Do I keep doing this? Do I change? Whatever. I'm not going to lie. Of course, that figures. I think we just lost Bobby.
Bobby for a second.
Kids got home.
Yeah, you can keep going. I had an idea. Going on what happened with you, Amin. You posted a reel with the hip hop song, and someone commented something bad, like, "Oh, these don't belong together." So I was thinking, what brands or what model watches would be a song? Like, what would a Submariner song be? Like, I was trying to think about like things like that. Like, if you were make those associations, like what would be the equivalent, either in emotional feel or like how they fit into the space of like, Submariner is like the benchmark for divers. So what would be like a benchmark song or something? I don't know. Like, in the chat, let's if you have ideas for like what an IWC song should be, or what anything, chime in.
I'm cheating. I'm doing a little bit of Googling because I've just discovered what the Submariner song is. It is Yesterday by the Beatles. And my rationale is because I just quickly Googled most covered song in history.
I like it.
That's good.
That's a good one.
So There's a good one. I actually did a video on this. I did a video on this a couple of years ago about if brands were bands, like which
Oh, yeah, that's
brand
right.
would people be?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and if I was a better YouTuber, I'd remember what I'd said. I can't recall. I think
I remember. I like that one.
I think I'd probably go with IWC could be, say, AC/DC. I remember I remember an interview once with Angus Young, the lead guitarist, and he said, and someone from Rolling Stone was being a bit snarky, and they said, "So what's it feel like to have put out 12 hit albums that are essentially just covers of each other?" And he said, "I don't think that's true. It's not 12, it's 14." They just embrace the fact that they are what they are, and they make what they make, and people love it. And I'd go with that's IWC for me.
Man, Rob got taken out. Somebody said the YouTube Ajay says YouTube Deep State took him out. He's changing his name to Robert Legnowski right now.
He's gonna come back as Robert. Yeah,
that's right.
There's a knock at the door. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, this guy posted.
That's not a bad name. Leg Zeppelin.
Leg Zeppelin. On my, I've been putting YouTube shorts with rap music. This guy said, rap music and high horology don't belong together. It's like, geez, dude. I like that song.
Don't let anyone from AP know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Even if you're watching and you're in the chat, it's pretty stupid.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're watching, you're wearing it, you're feeling it, whatever
it
you
makes
like,
no
that
sense.
goes with it.
Yeah. Especially if I got a really small channel. I mean, I do it for whatever the hell I want, for any reason. It's just those videos are not monetized. At least if they are, it's news to me.
I have no idea. I've never actually even done the shorts, so I don't know how that works.
I just post a wrist roll, put some music behind it, just for kicks.
Yeah, see, it's a wrist roll. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But,
it's only a couple seconds long. I think the shorts do pay, but the pay rate is like way lower than regular videos.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed as I look at my home screen is it looks like anyone who's not a girl and over the age of 25 is probably not allowed to put up shorts, or at least they're not going to get shown to anyone. So I've kind of decided that's probably just not something that's even worth doing. I mean, maybe if you're going to do it for, as I said, as Armin was saying, for sheer fun, go for your life. But I don't think my channel would get much out of it.
Yeah.
Compared to some girl doing a TikTok dance.
True.
Well, as far as like Instagram, the algorithm has really been promoting the Reels because it's more similar to like TikTok. And I made that comment, and Amin made some Reels, and he said it worked for him. He just posted a Reel a couple hours ago, and it's already like 20,000 views. It's like
I had a Reel today that went viral.
Yeah, I've heard.
Not like viral, but from my relative stance,
20,000 views is a lot of views in a couple hours.
Yeah,
it's there was a big discussion about this on, I think, a Blog to Watch, their podcast about a week or two ago. They had a long discussion about how Instagram, in some ways, made the watch community what it is today. It brought in probably millions of people into the hobby, and the way that Instagram is going, moving to video and Reels, doesn't really suit watchers. And they were leading down the path of, where are we going to be in 2 or 3 years' time when you open up Instagram, you don't get shown any of the people you follow, you don't get shown any watchers, you just get shown all these viral videos. Is that going to have an impact on the hobby, or are we going to pick up and move somewhere?
We're going to probably move somewhere.
I think we will. And the question then becomes, well, what the hell does that look like? But
Yeah.
so all those people with their tens of thousands of followers, just losing them on the gram, that's got to hurt someone. Anyway,
I mean, if
looks
your
like Bobby's
business,
back.
Rob, you made
yeah,
it.
I did. It was a fairly easy transition. My son was asleep, and I just brought him to bed.
Oh, that's where you were. We
Yeah.
thought somebody took you out.
Yeah,
No.
Instagram for watches for me is amazing because if I want to look up a certain watch, I just search the hashtag, and I can find real rich shots. I don't have to resort to these factory images of just renders, so I can see different lighting, different cameras, everybody, and it's great. Like if I want to see what a watch really looks like, Instagram's the way to go.
Yeah, I think so. So I don't. It'll be, like I said, it'll be interesting to see where it goes as it becomes more and more focused on video. Maybe we'll just transition to doing lots more wrist shots or something, but I don't know. But yeah, there's certainly a change coming there.
Okay. So how's my sound, guys? Somebody in the chat said my sound was very, very low. Okay, great,
Good.
great. So I assume the conversation went really, really well. You guys did great. I am back. And so why don't we, Dan, were you able to go check some chat talk or
Yeah,
is
we went
it
over. We were talking about
okay?
how what
Okay.
kind of music goes with what watches and stuff like that.
Oh, great. Yeah. So definitely death metal for me. I think that's the best option. That's a joke. Okay. What do you guys say we take a look at some new releases? This is a
Why not?
new release section of the show. Um, let me share my screen. Let's go to one of our favorites, Monochrome, and see what they have here. And whoa, so Tissot has been, I think, doing very, very well lately. And they've started to dip into the old playbook, very much like how Longines has done with some of their vintage-inspired models. This one here, a little bit different, right? The Tissot Open Heart Powermatic 80 collection. Pete, what do you think about Tissot? And not necessarily specifically about this watch, but what do you think they've been doing lately? How do you perceive that? Do you like what you see?
Do I like what I see? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy it. I'm not
Right.
the customer, but I think Tissot is trying to move into. I think the whole Swatch group is trying to move up.
Hmm.
And I think Tissot is trying to be what Longines was 4 or 5 years ago. And I think Longines trying to become, with the Ultrachron and things like that, they're trying to move up into something else as well. So I think they're going to keep selling $300 quartz watches for a while because that's where they make their money and they're not going to give that up. But I think that things like this, mechanical movements, higher grade finishing, slightly better or improved finishing, is going to be where they put their marketing money. I've noticed that Swatch Group is giving Tissot enormous opportunities to advertise. So Swatch Group is giving Tissot the ability to sponsor things like the Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia. They're the official watch now, I think, of the NBA. So Swatch Group has certainly got behind Tissot and is pushing them into the public consciousness. So I think, yeah, they're trying to be more than your $300 quartz watch that you pick up, at the mall, and they're doing it in little bite-sized chunks. And I think it's going to work.
Yeah.
If they keep on this path, I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think the PRX was a home run. The PRX Chrono is a very good-looking watch, right? And I think you get a pretty good package for what you pay for. And plus, they have that, is it the telemeter that they just came out with? That I think that's what they call it. The vintage-inspired one, which is another Chrono that just looks great. And here, look, I mean, Open Heart may not be everybody's thing, but for €875, You get that 80-hour power reserve. Other than the Open Heart, a very good-looking watch in my opinion. Not
Other than the
bad.
open heart, though, they had this watch, right? Without
Yeah.
the open heart.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
This is horrendous, guys. Am I the only one who?
Oh,
It's
I'm not
just
saying I'm not
bloody
saying I
awful.
like it. I'm
Okay.
not saying that I like
I
it.
mean, I feel like we're. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy open hearts at all. I've done
Yeah.
a deal breakers video. Open hearts are a deal breaker for me. So
Yeah.
if you want to ask,
Same.
am I going to buy this watch? Never in a million years.
Yeah.
But it's more generally, people like them. There's a
Ugh.
reason why. If you go into Fossil, for example, and
Do
look
they?
at their watch area, it is absolutely full of open hearts and skeletonized watches. Normies love them.
Oof.
Yeah.
My
Navy blue.
goodness.
Navy
The
blue
version
monster,
without-
not a fan.
The version without the open heart, like if it had that same matte gray dial, like the initial picture that you put up, without the open heart, that looks nice.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't buy it because it's too close to my Aquaterra in terms of looks and the PCLs and so on. But it's still a very good looking watch without the open heart.
I don't think this is for us to buy.
I
I
gotta
don't
take
think.
my glasses off for this one. I can't look
Yeah,
at that.
this-
Let's keep going.
Yeah, I don't think this is a watch for us. This is a watch for normal people that walk into a mall and see this. And if they didn't see the open heart, they wouldn't know it was mechanical.
Not a fan of open heart watches. Don't like this one either. Mid 80s, yes, at and so. I guard my heart. This is a little too vulnerable for me, though. All right. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it's not great, but I still do like what they're doing as a whole.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think they've done a lot of good stuff recently.
Maybe
This
the
is
new,
just a head scratcher.
maybe they're the new Longines, you know. Yeah, definitely head scratcher. Panhard Reverse Panda. That's how about this release? Your IWC guys. What do you think about this new version of the Aqua Timer?
It's just the update to the movement, no?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Can you be both surprised and not surprised at the same time? I honestly thought that IWC would take the opportunity to update the Aqua Timer and sort of do something new with it. And so I'm surprised that they didn't. But then on the other hand, if you look at what they've done with a lot of their other watches lately, where it's been this tiny little incremental change, maybe this is what I should have been expecting all along. I quite like the Aqua Timer. It's kind of quirky. It does things that no other diver does. I don't mind it. It's fine. If you would have bought the old one, you'll buy the new one. If you wouldn't have bought the old one, you won't buy the new one.
It seems like with some of their models, they're willing to take chances with dial colors and so on. Then others, they try to, they keep closer to the vest, like they stay looking the same, like a lot with the Mark series and so on. So
I really hate the fake 9 o'clock crown. That shit bothers me so much.
yeah.
Is it
See, I
fake?
No, it's
It
not
Doesn't do
fake.
anything.
No, it
Doesn't
does
do
do
anything.
something. It sort of does. That space inside the 9 o'clock is actually, it's a little bit like what happened with some of the Breitlings. There's a gearing system inside that turns the rotation of the outer bezel
Not on this watch.
into the rotation
Not on this
on
watch.
the inner bezel. I'm pretty sure
Not
it
on
is.
this watch. No, it's not. My friend has this watch. It doesn't.
Oh,
The-
okay.
there's
I thought that's
The
what it did.
bezel. The bezel controls the inner rotating bezel.
Yeah,
The
it
9 o'clock
does.
does nothing. Yeah.
No, but I thought that little section was where the gearing was that joined the outer bezel to the inner rehort.
Oh,
So
there
the
might
mech-
be parts in
the-
there, but
the
to
mechanism
me,
is
it
in
just
there,
looks like,
but you
to
don't
me, it's
actually
same as big
manipulate
vents on a
anything.
car.
Yeah, you don't
To
use
me,
it.
it
You
looks
don't.
like. Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, look, I mean, when you think IWC, you don't think Aqua Timer, and I think, to Pete's point, they probably had missed an opportunity to do something different here, right? I don't see them. I mean, do they sell a lot of these?
No.
Yeah.
And I
They
think
could have at
even
least.
though,
Mhm.
and I was going to say, these companies are big. They've got a lot of money, but they're not limitless. Think of all the money that IWC must have been pouring into their ceramics lately. I can't imagine. I imagine that's probably drained the swamp for R&D in
Right.
in IWC at the moment.
And there's a lot of talk about them working on an Ingenieur for coming soon. So it would be hard to really revamp that line and revamp this line at the same time.
Kevin doesn't like the 9 o'clock wort in there. AJ saying maybe they should have done a nice open heart on it. Good one, AJ. Let's see here. Any other ones?
So Wilson's requesting that you go to the mechanic. Go down.
Oh, that's the weird. That's the thing that was a micro brand that got brought back or something.
Yeah.
The Oxen Junior thing.
This one right here?
Oh, down. No, one. Nope, not that one.
No, on the left side.
Go down one more.
Oh,
all the way on the left.
Yeah. Wilson was the first one to mention this one, and I love it. It's basically the same watch as the I think it was MIH, but it's a little bit thinner now. So I like it. Titanium, annual calendar, chronograph.
Is this here? Is it where the date? I guess, or
no, it's a 30-minute chronograph. 30-minute chronograph.
Oh, okay.
The mono pusher chronograph, yeah.
Man, that's out there.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy behind this, has a lineage going back to Ulysse Nardin, and was famous or infamous for being able to, with a very small number of components, create amazing complications on top of pretty simple base movements, and that's what they've done here. They do it still with Oxen Junior.
So like a kind of like a Richard Harbring, but not Richard Harbring.
Yeah.
Didn't he collaborate with other famous people for the MIH watch? I remember that Oxlin was involved, but I thought there was one or two other people that he worked on that with.
Yeah, I think Oxlin did the movement. Someone else did the design.
Oh, okay.
I won't die in a ditch over that. I think that's
I had one of his UN watches. The first perpetual calendar he did for UN, but the Oxen Junior and then this one too. They're so pared back. I know that's part of the appeal, but it's too much for me. It's too simple a display.
Peter's saying is I like this, but it reminds me of a Modane watch. I see that.
Too much restraint.
Yeah,
I love it.
And Kevin is saying, and look how successful he was at Ulysse.
He was actually successful at Ulysse Nardin.
Yeah, they were.
Back in the day, he was he made a big splash for UN. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. Anything else that jumps at you guys that you would want to take a look at? It's been kind of thin with releases, I would have to say.
You northern guys might know the answer to this. When does summer stop and do people start working and producing stuff again? It's funny because it's winter down here, and all I ever hear is, summer's a quiet time where no one releases anything. When does that end?
I feel like in the U.S., everybody works there is. So in Europe, right, you have August is typically the vacation month, right? Everybody goes on holiday. Nobody's answering the phone. Everybody's on holiday. In the U.S., we don't really treat ourselves very nicely, right? We don't really take many vacations, and if we do, it's only a couple of weeks. So most of these brands, right, are in Europe, right, or in Switzerland. Yeah. So I think in the summertime, they live life right? They take time off and they don't do much, right? I mean, guys, does that sound right?
Yeah, I must admit, I'm just wondering, when do we start getting releases again? When do we start getting some news? I'm sure in probably about a month or so, and starting in September, leading up to
Black Friday and in the US here and the holiday
yeah.
season.
Yeah. With the advent of the internet and releasing stuff online has thrown the entire release schedule off. Like you can get anything at any time. But I
Uh,
agree with you with August with that. But after that, it's like all bets are off.
but apparently none of this applies to Grand Seiko, right?
Oh no.
'Cause
Yeah.
They got 3 models coming tomorrow.
Or
Yeah.
Sig, right? They got this new speed timer with the blue dial. Did you guys talk about that?
Well, I mean, the speed timer's been out, but I think they just did a blue dial version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they've done some sumos and new sumo variants and whatnot.
Yeah, there were
Um,
some Australian specific ones that got released.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
So,
Neff is saying my AD said Tudor's releasing something at the end of this month, but they will not say what it was. But I'm sure
I can
they'll
tell
hype
you
it
what
up.
it is.
Oh yeah, please do.
It'll be a Rolex homage.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And they'll hype it up, and then everybody's gonna be like, we want a Submariner. Everybody's gonna think it's gonna be like the Tudor Submariner. It's gonna be totally something different.
No, Tudor Daytona.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, we've already got that.
We already got that. Yeah, Wilson, 3 times a week, Grand Seiko releases. They have micro seasons in Japan.
Yeah.
That's true. We've been
What
saying,
Rolex do we not have a Tudor homage of yet?
The Tudor Cellini.
Skydweller.
Yachtmaster 2.
Oh man,
Skydweller.
what happens when you make ugly cheap?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's even worse.
Oh, dude. Oh, Wayben is saying New York City is really dead until Labor Day, and then it's like someone flips a switch and everything comes roaring back. Everybody's down the shore, and in the summertime. There's always another Doves and Siemens. Yeah, the Grand Seiko jokes keep coming. Only Mark from Long Island Watch has more summer releases planned than Seiko and Grand Seiko. Tudor Milgauss.
Uh,
I'm hoping Longines will start making 34 millimeter men's watches again. That's pretty much what I'm looking forward to.
Really going back, huh? Really going back
Oh
to the playbook.
man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But look, I mean, man, Longines and now Tissot. I mean, like some of these brands are really turning them out, and I'm actually I like to see this kind of like rotation that's coming in of brands and different kind of looks, and even though with some of them they go back to the playbook, and I find that boring at times, but when it's done really well, like Longines, like what I'm seeing here from Tissot, I think it's great. I think it's great for everyone interested in watches, whether you're a collector or not.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're seeing now, for a long time, everyone went back to what they'd done in the past, but
Yeah.
everyone went back to a very specific 10-year period, 1955 to 1965, and they all repeated the same things. Now you're seeing brands like Tissot and Longines and Breitling and a whole bunch of others saying, you know what, we're going to go back, but we're going to go either back to the 40s
Yeah.
or we're going to go back to the 60s and 70s. And
Right.
even the 80s are coming back now. And there's a lot of brands who are almost studiously avoiding that painfully retro classic, mid-century modern 1955 to 1965. And there's a whole bunch of watch collectors who will not let that time period go and for some reason call it timeless.
yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just so over that whole time period.
Yeah.
Just go.
I think with some watches it really works. Like with Breitling had I can't believe they did this. The limited edition Breitling Cosmonaut, which is something 100 and something pieces, and I'm like, oh, like if you made that a wide release,
Ooh.
like dude,
I'd
I'd be all
I'd be a buyer.
over it.
I'd be a buyer too.
Yeah,
it's
I think
beautiful
I'd
watch.
I'd pretty much guarantee that will become a mainline watch. They just won't do it with the platinum bezel and all that other sort of stuff. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it'll probably come eventually.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
Padawan saying a new diver commemorating the expedition to Hawaii for Tudor. Is that what you're talking about? Justin saying need to go all the way back to the 1890s. Give me some homage pocket watches, right, Patrick? Caliber is saying I love plastic watches 30 plus years ago. I mean, that's what I grew up with, right?
Mhm.
911 Dan, how do you like the ceramic Bell and Ross?
I liked it so much I returned it.
Okay, so do you want to? Can you expand? I know you're a man of few
Yeah.
words.
I like the aesthetic of it, but for me it was uncomfortable because the way it fit and it just kind of flopped around on my wrist. The case back was so smooth that it would just slide around, and just knocking back and forth made it really uncomfortable.
Is that a square one?
The square
Was
one,
it-
yeah.
Yeah. I got the BR03, and I agree. It's a weird shape. It's a hard one to wear.
Yeah, it if it was like the back was like stickier, it might have been better, but yeah, and it was just too heavy. Even though it's ceramic supposed to be lighter, this was not a light watch. It was a very heavy watch.
Interesting. Well, we are at the 10 o'clock hour here on the East Coast of the United States, and that also means it's Bobby Legs' bedtime. Yeah. So, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on a Friday night, especially Pete. Thank you so much coming on and giving your take on the content to creators name change and your
Yeah.
experience with it. Really, really appreciate your opinion on it. It was certainly, when I saw your video, an opinion that, or a side of it that I didn't consider. So it was very, very helpful, and thank you again. Always a pleasure having you on the show. So what does the Pete McConnell channel have going on coming up?
I'm doing an experiment with some short, sharp reviews. I really struggle doing watch reviews, so I get hyper focused and they become really long, and then I spend weeks trying to edit them back, and it's just a nightmare. So I'm actually focusing on doing what I call really aggressive, all killer, no filler reviews. Trying to do reviews that are like between 3 and 5 minutes. So you might see some of those coming out pretty soon. What else? That's probably the big thing. Hopefully I'll get my first one for a JLC out this afternoon.
Huh.
So I've just got to take some photos and edit them. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Ra, anything coming up? Any visits to the AD this weekend? No.
No. The Breitling visit went really well. Like I liked. I don't think I saw a watch in there I disliked. So that opened some things up down the road. But aside
Very
from
nice.
that, now with the advent of work and not being off for 2 months, that's
Yeah.
I got to
Well,
plan a
you'll-
lot better now. It's not
Well,
like,
you'll be able
let's
to
just
save-
roll over.
You'll be able to save up, So that's always good, right? Dan, what's up, man? Modding? You're modding this weekend, or no?
No.
Okay. Good enough. Amin, what do you got?
I was thinking about, trying to super hype a couple of my watches on Instagram and about how lucky I am to own them, and then flip them in a week or two. But it's not really me.
Solid
So
plan. Solid plan.
so I think I'll just probably just
Now that you know how to go
lie
viral.
around. Yeah.
Now that you know how to go viral.
Yeah.
Hey,
make all the
so
stuff go viral.
so I changed my Instagram account to a professional account, and I did a reel, and of the Sea of Clouds, and like in like an hour, I had like 1,200 views.
There you go.
Like
See?
Nice.
it's amazing that slight change and that much more exposure. It's incredible. Anyway, guys, thank you again, chat. Thank you again for driving the content and the chat today. Really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a great one. Take care.
Take care. Good night, guys.
Good night.